So I guess since you clicked on this video, you are having trouble with drawing full body figures that look dynamic and natural and not like a statue. If that's the case, then stay right here because today I'm going to teach you all about the Contrapposto and how you can use it to very easily change the way you draw people forever. Let's go! So before I tell you what the hell a contrapposto is, we're gonna analyze real quick why exactly your figures look stiff. What is the difference between this and this? Okay, obviously there are 6 years between these drawings, so there are a lot of anatomical mistakes, but if I were to redraw the exact pose right now, it looked like this. Still doesn't look good, does it? Looks like a statue. Speaking of which, let's look at a statue. This is a kouros. It's a Greek term for those kind of statues, but you can also find similar things with ancient Egypt statues. What defines them is an upright, most of the times forward striding stance. And that was supposed to give them the illusion of motion. They just don't look like they are in motion, right? The shoulders and hips are completely straight. The weight of the body is distributed equally on both legs, and that's exactly the point. The kouros are from the Archaic period, which came right before Classic period, which is where everyone started to go nuts with these hyper-realistic statues that we all know and love from all those museum trips and school books. The most famous example probably being Michelangelo's David. Yeah, compare this to a kouros, you can see that David looks much more realistic. And of course, there's also more detail, but it's not like the people who did kouros didn't have any knowledge about anatomy. They were already pretty versed in that. So what really makes the difference here is, you guessed it, the contrapposto. By the way, if you translate that to English, it means counterpose. It's a term for how the shoulders and hips are relating to each other when you're either standing, like David here, or moving. So if we do the same thing as we did with the kouros and trace over in which direction the shoulders and the hips go, you can clearly see that they oppose each other. They're not parallel, counterpose. You know what I'm saying, right? If the shoulders go up, the hips go down. When the shoulders go down, the hips go up. So I know right now you're like, Mary, but what does that do? How the heck is that helping me? Just look at what it does with the body. What David is doing here is shifting all his weight on one leg only. By doing that, his other leg is able to relax and can do basically anything at once. It's his free leg, it's free to move. The other one is the engaged leg, it's busy with holding all his weight. Again, if you look at this guy, his weight is shifted on his left leg, so his right can move around. If you implement that in your drawings, you'll be able to draw much more dynamic poses because you'll always know exactly where the weight of your character is. And this might sound a little abstract for some of you still, but trust me, once you get it, it'll change your life. So here I am. Right now, I'm standing like a kouros, or I should say kori because that's the female term. It's not a very stable stance, let me tell you that. And I could also stand like this, still look like a statue, right? But once I shift my weight from both legs to only one leg, this looks much more natural, relaxed, less statuesque, basically. My weight is completely on my engaged leg, which leaves my free leg to do whatever I want. And by the way, in German we call the free leg the play leg, because you can literally play around with it without falling over, because, you know, there's no weight on it. And I'll teach you how to draw the contrapposto in a second, but for those who still can't quite wrap their heads around this concept, I recommend you look at statues from the classical period and try to spot which leg is engaged and which is free. You could also stand in front of a mirror and try it out yourself. Okay, so how exactly do I implement what I just learned into my drawings? And first off, disclaimer, there's no right or wrong to do this, and my way of doing this is probably not the only way. I draw my guidelines exactly the way they help me most, and you might have to figure out yourself how you want to draw guidelines, if you want to draw any at all. What I do is that I usually put the line for the shoulders first. And again, if you don't want to do a straight statuesque pose, don't make it straight, which you might want to do. There's nothing wrong with it, especially if you're doing concepts and so on. Just saying, you know, I'm not telling you what to do here, but if not, then remember to not draw the shoulder line straight. And then draw the hip line going in the opposite direction. Then I draw the middle line of the torso and connect the two, and from here on you can just add everything else, the limbs, neck, head, etc. etc. Boom! Easy stick figure guideline, done. Now you can build up the form of the body and put all the anatomical knowledge in that you already have learned, but no matter how good you are yet, the pose will be less stiff. I hope this helped you a bit. You can see that I'm not a pro yet at anatomy at all, but once I learned about the Contrapposto, drawing full body poses became so much easier for me. I used to avoid full body all the time because it looked stiff and weird and I didn't know how to do it. But with the Contrapposto in mind, it's actually my favorite thing to draw. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and please leave suggestions for what you'd like to see next. Other than that, I hope you have a great day. Bye bye!